Hi, it's Joe Carrero from sunny Albuquerque, and the issue I wanted to discuss today is tariffs. To alert you folks again as to all the misinformation that's floated out there, along with the promises they're never kept, and all the political waste and corruption that's going on, as we talked about some years ago in my play, Conversations with an Average Joe. We still haven't heard back from Elon as he reinvented that wheel with their Doge, with less experienced, high IQ younger people. But once again, so many different points of view are being presented that are just meant to confuse you, like tariffs, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, as a fan of Milton Friedman, who was an economic guru from the past, who basically circumvented economic theory with debates based on common sense, and that's what I like to do, let's talk about tariffs that, generally speaking, eliminates competition and puts everything on a basically level playing field, which ultimately increases prices. So when we talk about it in that context, they're not really good ideas to just float out there, since generally that presents an anticipation of higher prices, with people thinking inflation will go up and the stock market goes down. But sometimes it's necessary to use them in a reciprocal sense, when another country puts a tariff on our goods and we match it. And there is real advantage when they're placed on certain products to allow for fair competition. Take, for example, if a country like China makes specific products like basketballs and soccer balls and uses cheap and sometimes forced labor to produce those items, whereas the companies in our country with competitive wages and standards make our costs of production more than what China has. So it's probably a good idea for us to add a tariff on such products to make it an equal playing field. Of course, that added benefit is to encourage businesses here in our country to sprout up to compete on a level playing field. However, typically in the past, our government has become somewhat lazy in encouraging other countries to bring in cheaper products that discourages our business development. But even with tariffs on everything, there's no way that they could ever replace taxes to fund our government. Why would somebody say that? And I'll talk about taxes in another discussion. But another reason for tariffs is strictly political, where they're used to change another country's point of view. If they have a negative effect on our country, by putting tariff as an economic burden to bring about a change, as in the case of our porous borders that encourage not only the passage of illegal immigrants, but drugs like fentanyl that will kill hundreds of thousands of our mostly younger people. So while there still may be complaints of rising prices, decisions are made to offset a more serious harm done to our country, and becomes a trade-off to force countries to succumb to our dictates, eliminating that harm to us, as perceived by our leaders. So the argument becomes whether it's worth, as an example, to spend 20% more for a basketball from China to stop the deaths of so many of our citizens. It's a choice like so many of the choices we have every time we keep electing the same people with the same policies to office and expect a better outcome. So let's just think these things through. And if you're interested in reading more opinions based on fact, look at my videos in my website, senatorcarrero.com. Take care and be alert. May God continue to be with you.